we must pay homage to him.
But outside of that, we want to know, is Yamato stronger than all of the members of the Straw Hat crew?
Now, to the stronger part, maybe before this series it could be argued, but I feel like post this series, I think Yamato is going to fall somewhere around Jinbei's level, wherever people think that is. But I don't think that she's going to be. So here's my issue with the thing with Yamato. The only person I feel like that is not holding back on Yamato is Kaido. I feel like everyone else sees Yamato as like, this is Kaido's son who's a little bit crazy. So whenever she run around, like, they'd be like, oh, blah, 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 but they still have that, like, you're Kaido's child respect. You feel me? So they're still holding back. So in my opinion, Kaido's the only nigga that's beating his kid with no holds barred. You feel me? So that fight is where I still feel like, okay, he may not be holding back. The other question I have that's bigger is just I don't understand enough about ogres as a race to give you like a base strength. Because I feel like fishmen, for example, like if you're a fishman pirate, there's a certain level of base strength you just get because you're a fucking fishman. Like, you're under fucking water, you have a certain level of strength, and then if you learn fisherman karate, you have that as an added factor, which just makes you base level stronger than the fodder. Same thing with the giants. The other thing with the ogres that I don't understand is if the bat thing is a Kaido thing or an ogre thing. It sounds like it's potentially an ogre thing, which, you know, just changes the game a little bit there. But like I said, I still think power-wise, probably would edge out a win against Jinbei, maybe. But I'm thinking she's somewhere Jinbei level. So Jinbei to me is going to be under the Monster Trio still, or in that party, after this arc. Right now, Jinbei is probably at their level or above, depending on who you bring up in the Monster Trio. But after, I see Sanji's going to catch a dub against Queen, and Zoro's going to catch a dub against King, and Luffy's going to catch a dub against Kaido. So we're going to get 3 new moves from them that I think is going to make the statement clear that they're at a different level. That's just how I feel about it. Right now, Yamato is probably they're all somewhere in the same ballpark. Afterwards, I think the lines are going to be drawn pretty distinctly. And I don't think, for sure right now, I don't think Yamato's stronger than Luffy. I'll put that out there. And I will argue Zoro's probably edging the dub out against her. I don't fuck with Sanji, so that's why I think he loses. But I'm just put that out there. That's where I stand.
I mean, low key, I think I got a ditto just about everything MGG just spit out, though, to be real. Like, right now, like, the biggest talk is obviously because Yamato is holding her own against Kaido 1v1, right? So, at this, like, little point in moment, like, if we literally said, all right, let's rate, you know, the Straw Hat crew, throw in Yamato, based on what MGG just said, yeah. Like, I can see Homegirl being, like, just under Luffy. Probably beating Zoro right now, if I'm being real and being honest. At least based on my own opinion. But, as soon as Homie beats out King, it's going to be like, aight. Yeah, I think that line needs to be drawn where Yamato is, like, under Luffy, who's about to beat Kaido, and then straight up Zoro, because he's got to be the second in command. But, as far as, like, Homegirl remaining in that realm of, like, you know, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and then Jinbei, like, yeah, I think she falls there. But I don't think she's stronger than the whole crew.
I'm going to go ahead and, before we go too far in the tangent, I'm going to go ahead and do my bit on the whole Yamato thing. I felt that, yes, in the beginning of this arc, she was definitely stronger than Luffy. Because she was able to... Luffy got one-shotted by Thunder Bagua. She's able to take that shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, granted, she has to, you know, put like some type of shield over her body or whatever. She can actually take that and actually fight with them. And she was able to use the Conqueror's Haki Koden in a fight. So she definitely would have worked Luffy all the same. The point where Luffy actually, I mean, I would say even when he first met her, she was still slightly stronger than him because she had those extra abilities over him, even though he had already, you know, did the training and was able to do the Ryu Haki or whatever. But as soon as Luffy, I would say, before Luffy got dropped over the edge, I would say he was probably exactly at Yamato's level. Now that he got thrown off the cliff, ate a bunch, probably had some type of internal level up or whatever, and now he's coming back into the fight. I think he's just a little bit above her. And as he continues to fight Kaido or whatever, and it's going to be continue to be a struggle, he's going to continue to grow more and more. Where now he's going to have a very good, obvious gap between him and Yamato. I doubt that.
The only thing I would toss.
I was gonna say I don't know if she's splitting skies like Luffy is. So if she ain't splitting skies when she clashes with Kaido, that's another obvious sign of it. But that's that.
Right. I think the only thing that's hard for me to wrap my head around with that fight, where you kind of said they got even. Like, I agree with most of your points there. I think the only thing that I find it hard, where I feel like Luffy might be able to, even the playing field or even catch a dub, apparently, it's just the versatility of moves. Because I'm like, you still got Gear 4th, and even though he didn't master Ryu, we've seen that he can, finesse that to work in various situations. And while it is a feat that she was able to withstand the Thunder Bagua or whatever, I do feel like she's had practice. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like she's seen it more than Luffy, who literally just ran up on it the first time, and then the second time it didn't necessarily work the same way. You get what I'm saying? He was able to dodge it. So I give her some gift. I get what you're saying there, but I also don't necessarily weight it as heavily, because I feel like you did grow up around this nigga. He taught you to move. I'm sure you were able to figure out a level of defense to it that Luffy just wasn't, because it was the first time he fucking saw that move. You get me? But I still mostly agree with what you said. That was just the only thing that makes me take pause, because I felt like if they were to fight each other, it's like her moveset versus his moveset. He got a lot of moves in the pocket that I'm like, I still think she would struggle. She might be able to edge out the win for sure, but I don't think it would be easy, if that makes. And I'm not saying you were saying it was easy. I'm just thinking in my head.
Now, as far as her being stronger than Zoro and Sanji, I'm right there with Jugga. I think she's stronger than Zoro and Sanji. I'm struggling trying to imagine how they'll become more powerful than her by simply fighting commanders, though. That's my issue. Yeah, I can expect that they're going to get stronger by fighting the commanders, but do we know if those commanders would have been able to hang with Kaido? That's my issue.
But do you know if those commanders would hang with Yamato? So you feel like Yamato would beat King and Queen right now?
Yeah, I do.
1v1.
Interesting.
I don't have a counter argument. I don't see it that way, but I don't think I have I don't have the evidence to argue it, so I can't refute your claim. But I don't see it that way, I guess is what I'll say. I feel like they would, if she won, it's because they were going easy on her because she's Kaido's child.
I mean, none of them actually fought against her, per se. I just don't think...
Right, because she's Kaido's child.
My thing is, I just don't think that they would have been able to hang like she could with Kaido. I'm basing it all on her fight against Kaido, literally.
Well, I
think that Kaido has such a huge gap. I mean, if you look at all of the huge gaps between all of the Yonko and their next in line or whatever, Big Mom and Katakuri, huge gap between them. Kaido and King, I would expect that there's a huge gap between them. And with me seeing how much Yamato is able to, at the very least, hang a bit and go blow for blow, kind of matching that Conqueror's holding coding on their attacks or whatever, I'm like, she has to be a little bit, at the very least, a little bit over that first in command.
Here's my hesitation with what you're saying, and I don't want to ride too much on this point because it doesn't have that much merit to it, but I keep going back to the emotional relationship Yamato has with all these people, and while I do feel like Kaido isn't necessarily holding back, I do feel like the interactions between Yamato versus Kaido and Luffy versus Kaido both times are very different in terms of Kaido's mentality. Kaido's he obviously, because Yamato has lived this long saying this shit, even though Kaido's a dick of a father, she's still alive. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there is a level of sympathy there. When Luffy came up on him and did that, like, Kaido was so disrespected. He needs to let this nigga know his place in the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? I felt like the mentality he went in with this Yamato fight was like, I'm pissed off that my daughter still doesn't fucking see my side of the story. But, like, I'll entertain this battle. But I don't feel like he went in with that level of, like, I'm ready to kill you. Right? I still feel like he went easy, if that makes sense. I don't feel like he was pulling punches necessarily, but I don't feel like he was pulling out the stops he could have pulled out to end Yamato if he really wanted to. That makes sense. I mean, we've seen this nigga pull out a blast breath. We've seen this nigga turn into a half dragon, full dragon. You know what I'm saying? There's a little bit of versatility that I don't see like he applied to that. It sounded like he was like, all right, we'll go mano-a-mano, bat-to-bat type thing.
He did that. He
like
did
the
do the blast
Dogtooth
breath.
versus Luffy fight.
He did do the blast breath. Yamato also had her own blast breath, and they canceled each other out on some yin and yang shit.
She had her young.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. I don't know.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of speculation.
I hear all your points, Graves. I think they're valid.
There's a lot of speculation.
Yeah, I hear your points. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I definitely think you got some valid points. Like, I could see it going either way. My mind is just set on the whole, she's still this nigga's kid, and it seems like the way I feel like her story was positioned, while even though Kaido was a dick to her, it was still like, you're the princess of the kingdom. You feel me? So we're still protecting you and, you know, shielding you from the BS and not really going at you like we would if you was a regular nigga playing these games with us. You know what I mean? Like, the game she's playing is definitely, like, killable offenses. Like, Kaido's crew would have been dragged a nigga doing that shit long time ago. You feel me?
Man, that's a tough call. If anything,
Yeah.